Former senatorial candidate Florin Hilbay has resigned from Acción Democrático, the party now led by Manila Mayor Isko Moreno. Hilbay also endorsed a presidential bid of Vice President Leni Robredo, calling her the better candidate this elections.
Hilbay says he respects the decision of the party to choose Manila Mayor Isko Moreno as its presidential candidate. But he's choosing to leave Acción Democrático due to, quote, ethical considerations.
Ang Aksyon Demokratiko ay dati na pumabati ko sa administrasyon na ito sa mga ginagawa nilang kamalian o kakulangan sa serbisyo sa bayan. So hindi po kami papayag na kami naman po ay magagamit.
The official campaign period for candidates for national positions will not start until February next year, but this early, aspirants are shifting political parties and loyalties. What will the official list of candidates look like for the 2022 elections? We discuss in this episode of The Chiefs. Welcome to The Chiefs. I'm Robbie Alampay. Kasama po natin online, Ami Pamintuan of the Philippine Star, Lucy Cruz Valdez of News 5, and with me here in studios in Mandaluyong, Ed Lingao of One News. Chiefs, happy Monday.
Hello.
Happy Monday.
Happy Monday.
Apat na araw na lang.
Oo nga, pero parang nung weekend, nung nag-alert level 3, ang dami na agad
lahat ng tao.
ang daming traffic. Ako, myself, I have to admit, we attended a wedding. Maliit lang, 50 people lang, limited to 50 people, pero on the way to Antipolo, grabe ang traffic.
Hindi ka na dumaan ng Dolomite.
Hindi, pa-Antipolo ako, pa-Antipolo. Pero Ami, ano pa binabantayan natin as far as alert level 3 and COVID is concerned?
Well, related to COVID, si U.S. Secretary of State Colin
I know.
namatay from complications from COVID, no? So,
And
yun.
he is fully vaccinated.
Yes. Saka alam niyo naman yung mga vaccine sa US, puro yung mga
Oo.
it's either
Ah.
Pfizer
Pero baka
or
may
Moderna.
comorbidity si Powell, di ba? Baka may comorbidities.
Well,
Lusog-lusog yun, di ba?
Yeah,
Pero
dating general yun eh.
taas na
Oh,
katawan eh.
pero I mean, he's medyo may edad na rin. Siyempre. Pero anyway, in the meantime, as always with us in these past days, hindi lang COVID ang headline. Siyempre, politics also is taking the limelight. We begin tonight with Senate President Pro Tempore Ralph Recto of the Nationalista Party. Good evening, Senator Recto.
Good evening,
Good
sir.
evening. Thank you for having me.
Magandang gabi
Thank
po.
you. Good
Nga
evening
po.
to all of you.
Sir, of course,
What
siyempre,
a great team.
alam din natin na maaga pa, you were already there declaring your support for one of the presidential aspirants, Isko Moreno. But I wanna ask, kasi November 15, nagka-countdown
we
tayo.
have-
Nagka-countdown
I
tayo.
think we have the best candidate.
Darating po tayo dyan. Marami po kayong oras susutuan doon. Pero anyway, darating po tayo sa November 15. Before we start talking about your candidates, I wanna talk about the candidates. Kasi November 15, assuming na talagang hindi na talaga magfa-file si Sara Duterte,
At tutuloy si Bato?
Do you believe the table is set? Do you think eto na? Alam na natin kung sino mga maglalaban-laban? O meron pa bang mga nangyayari?
No, I think it's either Sarah runs or she does not. And if she does not, I think the strongest candidate to beat will be Bongbong Marcos, especially if he is supported by the president.
Okay. Now, on any other side of Bongbong Marcos, the big question is what happens to all that talk about unity tickets and so on. Do we talk about that in the past tense? Do we leave that behind na?
You know, anything is possible, no? You have 6 months to go. It will be a turbulent campaign period for sure. There will be many ups and downs, no? And anything is possible.
Pero sir, dun
That's yung
sa
turbulence.
impossible,
Nag-umpisa na yung turbulence.
go ahead, Ami.
Nag-umpisa na yung turbulence. Ngayon pa lang eh. Di ba, umalis si Florin Hilbay, tapos si Samira Gutok was also, well, naghihimutok na kung bakit ganun daw yung mga salita ni your candidate, salita ng kandidato nyo against Vice President Leni Robredo. Parang
None of those,
maaga-
to me, none of those are real issues. And what is important is what can Isko do for the people?
Pero hindi ba?
May
Siyempre,
programa si Isko, di ba?
pero
Ah,
yung slogan niya is unifying, healing presidency, di ba?
That is correct. That is
Kaya
correct.
di ba maaapektuhan yung message na yon?
Maybe for now, some people are thinking of it that way, but I'm convinced. No? Look at his track record in Manila. Yung mga kalaban niya, nakuha niya, at yung magagaling na kalaban niya are all working for him as well. It's no joke to be able to unify also the city council in Manila. And like I said, he's been able to do that, and his unifying leadership in Manila has brought about progress in Manila in the last 2 years as well.
Sir, ano
He
yung
can
ano?
assemble a good team, yes.
Yes, sir. Well, from your perspective, sir, ano yung mga non-negotiables as far as your party is concerned? Well, your camp is concerned. When it comes to talking about unity, specifically with Lenny Robredo, ano yung mga non-negotiables? Ano yung hindi nyo pwedeng bitawan? For example, yung standard bearer ba is a non-negotiable?
There was nothing about non-negotiable. I think the vice president never said that she wanted to run for vice president, never said that she was going down as a president or that she would want to run as president. Wala namang ganun eh. From what I know, Isko offered the possibility of, to have a seat in the table, to probably even be Secretary of Social Welfare and Development, among others. I'm sure there are many other more. So on and so forth. But that's the past, no?
I'm
Right
sorry,
now,
sir.
we're concentrated moving forward, yes.
Did you say Isko offered the position of DSWD Secretary to VP Robredo, or he offered to take it in case magkasundo sila? Which is it po?
That's what I know. That's what I know. That was offered as well.
Which one, sir? That
Sino po kinalok?
Isko would take DSWD or Lenny would take DSWD?
No. That if Isko wins as president, that the Liberal Party would have a seat in the table, Juan Sabay would have a seat in the table, that they would be part of the campaign, and that the vice president, if she runs for governor, could be supported, or that if she's interested to be secretary of a department, then maybe social welfare is one of them.
Ano ba?
Something like that.
Teka,
But that's water
we
under
thought-
the bridge. Now we
okay.
move forward. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Pero water
but,
under the bridge can come
we,
back.
wa- we want to know. We want to know what may have happened that resulted in a sort of breakdown of the negotiations. No, so okay. So if you're saying that she was offered the DSWD post, then the assumption then was she really wasn't going to run. So my question is whether she gave any hint at all that she was or was not going to run at that time of the negotiation.
I
What
wouldn't know.
was
I
the-
wouldn't know. I can only speak for what I know, and what I know is that these were offered. But like I said, that's water under the bridge. No, a lot have been. Marami na napag-usapan tungkol dyan eh. What is more important today is what can we do for the people.
Okay. Senator, let's talk about what you know. Certainly sitting
Yes.
there in Batangas, and as you said, looking forward. Aksyon claims that since nag-file si Isko Moreno, libo-libo raw ang local officials that are jumping to Aksyon Demokratiko, starting to build up the machinery, if not in the long term, the party. Si Isko Moreno just had his first big gathering in Batangas. I'm just wondering, can you speak to that? I mean, can you confidently say that certainly in your bailiwick in Batangas that there was not only attendance in that rally, but there are in fact people joining the party and the machinery?
First of all, Robbie, I'm not Aksyon Demokratiko, but we do have a coalition in Batangas. No? We have somewhat of a local party called One Batangas, and the members of which would be NP, NPC, Aksyon Demokratiko, and some independents. So most of the incumbent officials in the province are supportive of Mayor Isko Moreno in his presidential bid. No?
Well, how are the preparations for the campaign coming along? Kasi ang sinasabi ng mga tao, mahirap daw tong both your presidential candidate and the one for VP are not only from Luzon, they're also both from Tondo. May,
Yeah,
may
the
impact
more-
ba yun in your support, especially in Mindanao where the other candidates are strong?
That's correct, no? Not only are they both from Tondo, not only are they both from Luzon or in Manila, pareho pa yung birthday nila, October 24, if I'm not mistaken, no? Oh, the message here is clear. The message is that Isko will give priority to health. Isko will give priority to the pandemic. Hindi pa tayo tapos dito. That's one, no? And then the second is, of course, economic recovery. Okay, housing will play an important role in that economic recovery. We know that by investing in housing, at least the multiplier effect is 17 times. So your peso will go 17 times much longer in housing. No? So and that has never been done in the Philippines in the past. And there is a prototype in Manila to begin with. No? Aside from that, you will notice that Isko, even today, may bagong hospital na pinagagawa ulit sa Manila. No? Not to mention, a few days ago, school buildings, huge educational facilities as well. So that we will prioritize also under a Moreno Dumagoso administration. No? But health is number one, among others. No? Yeah.
Okay. If Sara runs,
Yes.
all right, do you think that will divide the administration vote in a way that will make Isko the formidable opponent?
Let's look at the numbers, no? Okay, I'm a numbers person, no? Okay, so in Luzon, the best for the administration is what is happening today. You have 4 candidates from Luzon, and if the administration candidate is Sara, there are 2 candidates from the South. Luzon is roughly 60% of the vote. Divided by 4, that's on the average 15% each. In the South, Visayas and Mindanao, that's roughly 40% divided by 2. Assuming Sara were to run, then that's 20 between her and Manny Pacquiao. So, and plus the administration. So, yamadong-yamado si Sara if she runs, in that sense. Okay? Geographically speaking. Okay? But it would appear today that there's probably an even chance that she will not run. Okay? And that if it is Bato and Pacquiao from the South, who will get those votes? No? Okay, now, today you have possibly 2 administration candidates. Those who filed already, it's either Bato or Marcos. Who will the president support? If the president supports BBM, then that's a very strong ticket. That is the ticket to beat,
Eh, kung si
as far as
Bato,
I'm concerned. Yeah.
kayo nilalait niyo daw si Senator Bato.
No. I've worked with Bato in the Senate. He's got a lot of practical, may common sense. Okay, so I value whatever advice he gives us in the Senate as well.
Okay.
Okay, but all I'm saying is that I think Bongbong has a strong base also in Region 1, 2, doing very well in Region 4. Plus Mindanao, that's a formidable. I think he's a stronger ticket. He's a stronger candidate, rather. I'm sorry.
Yes, but Senator,
So you are seeing here a plurality with very, very
Definitely.
little differences between. So how decisive will the victory be, if ever?
Hard to tell.
Kasi
but what
baka
I can say-
mag-contest eh. Yeah.
What I can say right now, ang tansya ko, of course, many things can happen. If there will be a runaway candidate, I think it will be our candidate later on, Isko Moreno. If there will be a runaway, but today, as
But
we
does
speak,
it look
what I
like
can
there
tell
will
you,
be? Yeah.
what I can tell you right now is that as of today, my reading is that siguro yung mananalo dito, mga 30% lang of the vote and maybe margin of error lang, plus minus 3%. Now, if there will be a candidate who will have a runaway, I think it is our candidate. And why is that? Because Isko is able to communicate. Magaling mag-communicate naman si Isko. He has a track record.
Sir, we lost your
Wala
audio.
pa.
He has a lot of accomplishments in Manila.
Yes, sir. But if you believe the report, sir, there are also people running away from East Coast camp.
I'm sorry? I lost you there. Sorry.
If you believe the reports coming out, there are also people from East Coast camp running away naman.
That's expected, no? I don't know what's happening within Aksyon. No? I'm not a member of Aksyon. But former Solicitor General Hilbay is really identified with the Liberals. So it is no surprise to me that if Lenny did run, and she is running, that he would probably leave Aksyon and join her. So it's not surprising to me.
How big of a price is there for Isko Moreno, you think, to pay, in the sense of potentially losing the most ardent of supporters of the pink camp? Because right now ang atake kay Isko ng the strongest supporters of Leni Robredo is basically trying to cast him on the side of the Marcoses, trying to cast him even on the side of the Dutertes, and for them, it's almost as if Isko is a bigger threat to democracy and to their
yun.
values as Ferdinand Marcos Jr.
Ako, I look at it this way, no? The third strongest candidate to me, of course, is Lenny. Right? Okay. Now, you have extremes on either side. You have, let's call them na lang, on one, the administration candidate, and then you have the purist opposition. For example, in this case, the Liberal Party or the Pink Group or the Yellow Group, whatever you want to call them. And then you have the moderates. Okay? So Isko is positioning himself to be a moderate. No? And I think the great majority of our people are moderates. They're not extreme.
Yeah.
I don't believe that a majority of our people are DDS or Dilawan. I think a great majority are moderate.
Yes, but what's the line of the moderate? And is moderate different from middle of the road? Because that's one thing we've always been asking. How sustainable and how realistic is it for Isko Moreno to continue walking down the middle path? And what happened last week really was proof that it's so easy to push him to either side.
No, Robbie, I'll put it this way, no? Wala tayong primaries in the Philippines. This is our primaries. Where we are today. 6 months to go. And remember, we have COVID. Kaya mahirap nung umpisa mag-meeting and have somewhat of a primary or have a convention or anything because we have COVID. Diba? And of course, we don't have true political parties in the country today. Diba? Okay, so expected yan, no? So, I look at it this way. The pink or the yellow, or pink and yellow, which are not my favorite colors anyway, incidentally. Okay, if the pink and the yellow, they feel that they're threatened by Isko in the primaries, then the ideas for them is, of course, to push him aside. Right? Sabi ko nga, hindi naman dito magpapatulak. No? Because he honestly believe that we have a good program of government. We are offering the people in this election our brand of leadership, and what program can he offer to the people, diba? Like I mentioned already earlier, number one, kalusugan, pinaka-importante sa lahat. Oportunidad makapag-aral, makakita ng doktor, halimbawa pag nagkasakit, housing, among others, no? And many more. No, so in the campaign, mapag-uusapan yan, little by little. Magiging maliwanag din to our voters. What is the program of the yellow or the pink? What is the program of, let's say, BBM, of Bato, of Senator Ping Lacson? Ano naman yung kay Isko?
Senator,
Sino yung may prototype din? Okay.
Senator, you mentioned the gatherings for the campaign. The DILG is looking now into reports of mass gatherings of certain persons running for national positions. Kasi Mayor Isko at si Manny Pacquiao.
Magtingin sila sa Batangas.
Yeah.
I think we've shown that we have a good way of doing it. We followed all health protocols. Libre ang testing dito. So the day before, we offered PCR test to anyone. In fact, lahat pala ng pumunta dito, nakabakuna lahat yon. May bakuna yon. May testing na libre. I'm sure you've seen the videos. I
Parang
think we're
walang
always-
social distancing.
Oh, yung
Yes, sir.
distance.
No,
Sir,
if-
actually, sir, yung Batangas
sinasabi.
Valley nga, sir, ang pinunaan ng
it's 6
DILG.
feet apart. It's 6 feet apart.
6
Tingnan naman ninyo ang IATF dyan. Ang sinasabi nila, nagbubukas, pwede na nga sa sinehan eh. Oh, what are they talking about? Di ba? Oh, eto 5,000 yung kasya dun sa gym, 250 lang kami. I think we did it very responsibly. And that happened last Friday. We're talking right now. It's, what day is it today? Monday?
Yeah.
I'm okay.
Okay.
Lamang
Everyone is
5
okay?
days eh.
Oh.
Dapat 5
we-
days.
We will find out. 5
Bago
more days.
lumabas ang sintomas.
Sure.
Pero,
Sure.
yeah, pero
We can have an interview again.
Sir,
Pero
you
di
were...
ba malaking problema yon for somebody
I think-
like Isko, no? And all the
Lahat kami
candidates
nakamask,
kasi.
they're 6 feet away, so on and so forth. I think if you take a look at the videos, or you can visit the place, they can investigate as much as they want. I don't see any problem with it. Incidentally, dito nga pala sa Batangas, we're not like Metro Manila. We're GCQ here.
Okay.
Di ba? Hindi naman kami Metro Manila rin eh. Oh, and dyan nga, nagpababa na rin. Level 3 na rin ata ngayon eh, di ba?
Level 3.
Oh,
Pero
maggulo nga sila dyan eh.
magagawa ba yan nationwide, Senator? Hindi ba medyo
I think-
lahat magte-testing? Medyo mahal yun.
No, kanya, be responsible in whatever you're doing. O dito, responsable kami. Mag-imbestiga kayo. Responsable kami dito. I think this is a model. What we did is a model of how to do it nationwide. Kaya nga kami nauna eh. Malakas ang loob ng Batanggenyo eh.
So no word yet from the DILG na iimbestigahan nga kayo because last week pa sinasabi
They can investigate as much as they want. I'm sure they're doing it.
Sir, you were part of the Liberal Party at least until 2018 when you, I think, shifted to the Nationalista Party.
No, 2016, when I became minority leader and the Liberal Party joined the majority. Then I shifted to the
2016.
Nationalista Party,
Okay. Yeah.
which is my original party. Yeah.
Yes, sir. But I was wondering lang about the conversation now between those who came from the Liberal
But I have a
Party.
liberal philosophy, incidentally.
It's okay, sir.
I
Yes, sir.
understand that, yeah.
But I'd like to
Go
ask,
ahead.
how's the conversation between those who were at least part of the Liberal Party before, who are now in Isko Moreno's camp, and with their former colleagues now in the LP? I asked that kasi the last time we had Eric Erice here, medyo malalim yung kanyang mga hinanakit, yung mga tampo. At naglabasan
Ako,
tuloy
wala
lahat.
akong tampo. Wala naman akong tampo.
So I'm wondering lang how the conversation is, if there is any, and moving forward, if there could be any back channeling in the
Well,
future.
you know, yeah, I'm sure we can back channel in the future. Lahat naman yung kaibigan ko. In fact, prior to all of this, I was talking to them. Finding a way for unity as well. Yeah, I'm very close to Senator Frank Dillon. I'm close to Kiko. I'm close to Bam. I'm close to all of them. I supported them in the last election also for the Senate here. Diba? I supported Shell Jokno. I will continue to support Shell Jokno. Batanggenyo pa yan. And I think justice is such an important advocacy.
Parang uncontested ka dyan sa distrito mo. Kaya parang...
Fortunately, yes. So thank you
Yeah.
very much sa ating mga kababayan dito sa Lipa. Yes.
Oo. So you must be taking it easy and pouring your efforts into the campaign, no? So I guess the question nga to you is really how to introduce a Manileño to the Visayans and the Mindanaoans, no? Because,
That's correct. Now, in so far as Visayas is concerned, Isko's father is from Antique, the mother is from Northern Samar, if I'm not mistaken. Based on our polls, we're doing very well in Visayas. We're improving our numbers there. Similarly, we're doing also better in Mindanao. So, nag-umpisa pa lang yung kampanya. We expect those numbers to improve moving forward. And I take pride also, the Batangueños take pride nga pala, that the kickoff was here in Batangas of the campaign of Isko. So dito naglayag ng bangga.
Bakit? What is so special about Batangas for Isko?
Yeah. Una, maraming mga Batanggenyo ang, incidentally, nagpasalamat din pala kami kay Isko because nung pumutok yung Taal Volcano, in 4 days, naghatid na ng tulong dito yan. Wala pang COVID. Okay? Lahat ng mga biyahero sa Batangas, pag nagdadala ng mga produkto sa Manila, libre ang bakuna. Hindi tinitignan doon kung ikaw botante ka sa Manila o hindi. So on and so forth. So we made him an adopted son here in Lipa as well. And we want to have a sister city arrangement also with Manila. Now, what is it about Batangas? Well, Batangas is part of the Philippine flag. In fact, we made the Philippine flag. Right? So one of the rays of the sun is Batangas. So, you know, Isko likes historical. He reads a lot of history. Okay? And many of our karamihan ng mga bayani rin natin galing sa lalawigan ng Batangas. Ang rekto na sa Manila, taga Batangas. Ama na sa Ligang Batas, yung mamay ko, yung lolo ko. So, major road sa Manila yon. PM Recto, di ba?
Traffic.
So, nung araw marumi, ngayon malinis na. Dahil kay Isko. Divisoria, Binondo, buong Manila, CM Recto.
Naku, hala, iniugnay kay Isko,
That is his achievement. And that's why I said in Batangas, yung ginawa mo sa Manila, gawin natin sa buong Pilipinas.
Senator Recto, I want to ask you again more about the pragmatics of politics. No, I mean not just
Yes,
Isko,
very good, yes.
But you know, everybody's looking at November 15 because that's the deadline for replacement, sliding down, or substitution, whatever. No, but let's say wala magsa-substitute beyond November 15.
Yes.
Ano pa bang mga laro? Ano pa bang where else can there be horse trading or negotiations between parties? What else is possible in terms of forging, whatever you want to call it?
You
But
know,
let's
the first-
assume na, as you pointed out, Ferdinand Marcos Jr., Bongbong Marcos is the front runner, and on any other side of him, people have to start getting pragmatic. Ano pang pwede pag-usapan beyond November 15?
Okay, very good question, Robbie. So after November 15, maliwanag na kung sino yung mga kandidato. Okay, surveys will be conducted for sure. Okay? So makikita na natin yung mga numerong yan. Okay? In our case, we're gonna do surveys from north to south. Okay, it's gonna take some time. Pagdating ng Enero or end of the year, we'll know these numbers, and today is starting gate talaga. So you'll know how to campaign now after that. Kasi ito na yung maliwanag ng mga kandidato eh. Now, moving forward, let's say the next 2-3 months, and suddenly that some candidates' ratings go up and others go down. O yun, pwede magkaroon ng usapan dyan. You will recall in 1992, Erap ran for president. He slid down to vice in the middle of the campaign. I think 1 month before. Bumaba siya, and he won as vice president. He knew he was going to lose as president, right? So nangyari na yan dati, he slid down. He joined, I think, Dandig, if I'm not mistaken, as vice president. Umatras si Jerry Barigan, if I'm not mistaken, if I recall. Okay? And he won. And in 1998, he became president. If he didn't slide down in 1992, he may not have become president in 1998. So these things can happen moving forward.
Okay.
Many things can happen.
Okay. Senator Ralph Recto, maraming salamat po.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you for having
Thank
me.
you.
We look forward to
Senator.
having you again and again and again.
Before November
Looking
15.
forward. Thank you.
Sige pa. We will need to take a break. Please stay with us. The Chiefs will be right back.
Welcome back to the Chiefs Show on One News. And now joining us is infectious diseases expert and vaccine expert panel member, Dr. Ronjin Solante. Doc, good evening and welcome back.
Hi,
Good
Ed.
evening, Doc.
Good evening.
Hi,
Good
good evening,
evening
Doc.
to everyone.
Yes, Doc. Doc, well, the numbers do look good. At least the numbers released by DOH. I think our infectivity rate is down to 0.57. Pero on the other hand, ito nga, on the other hand, on the other hand, may warning yung Philippine Hospitals Association na
Puno pa rin.
too small to make a difference yung pagbaba. On the ground, pagbaba ng numbers sa mga ospital, and they're still at 100%, many of them are still at 100% capacity, and that the numbers do not really reflect the realities on the ground. So I'd like you, sana lang to contextualize for us, ano ba talaga ang itsura dyan? For example, sa inyo?
Yes, in a way, the overall number of cases has really significantly gone down for the past 2 weeks, and especially beginning last week and then today, admissions are still there, but not as in terms of volume previous month, like September and August. The other problem here is, I think, the ICU capacity is still not good to look, because even in most, like in the government hospitals where I'm affiliated and private hospitals, more or less we still are in the 70 to 90% capacity of the ICU. And that, I
70
think,
to 90?
most of those admitted are really the severe critical and the vulnerable population. So I agree somewhat with the Philippine Hospital Association na medyo hindi pa natin nakikita talaga yung tinatawag natin na medyo nakakaluwang-luwang na tayo. And that in itself, dapat hindi pa rin tayo maging complacent. And we really still have to be on our guard in terms of the health protocols.
Pero Doc, nakita niyo ba yung mga video na lumalabas over the weekend at saka ngayong araw na to? Kasi, we don't want to be complacent, but you look at the pictures, and it's not even about complacency. For a lot of people who have to go to work, siksikan ng mga pila, siksikan ng mga bus. What does that give you in terms of what to expect in the coming weeks?
That's always the risk when we downgrade the alert level. And when we downgrade the alert level too soon, since we now have a downtrend in the cases, there are really uncertainties in the next 2 to 3 weeks now, because if these people are in congregation, in gatherings, and even the fact that a lot of them are already in siksikan na sa mga transportation system, we already experienced that before, okay? And I'm just hoping na itong mga nangyayari ngayong mga ganito, hopefully these are the vaccinated, the fully vaccinated, dahil the chance really of higher cases will really be burdened on those unvaccinated.
Doc, nagulat lang ako dun sa sinabi niyong 70 to 90% yung capacity ng ICUs ngayon. Kasi I checked with the DOH numbers, ang NCR daw nasa 59% lang.
Yes.
62% naman sa national. So, tama ho ba yung sinasabi ng Hospitals Association na hindi nagre-reflect in true numbers?
That's why I cannot sometimes reconcile kung yung mga ICU. I am not so privy about it, but I think this is the overall ICU, and
Yes.
this is national. Then there are hospitals outside of NCR na hindi naman siguro na ganun kataas ang mga kaso. So there is something like an imbalance in some of these areas, because like in a highly urbanized area like National Capital Region, mataas pa rin ang ICU
Pero doon kasi mababa yung NCR
national
average.
average.
Yung NCR average is 59, yung national average is 62. So mas mababa pa yung NCR average ng DOH. I'm sorry for asking it.
I don't know if this adds context, but and I wanted to clarify this. Kanina kausap ko si Dr. Jaime Almora nga ng Philippine Hospitals Association. But one of the things he said that could reconcile what they're actually feeling with what seems to be better numbers is, sabi niya, yung COVID beds and ICU units ang tinitingnan na numbers. But sabi niya, you have to remember that we have there's been a surge of non-COVID cases as well. Both for regular cases and for ICU. and that's keeping our hands full. Does that make sense? Do you think I got that correctly? And is that part of the context for everybody else?
Yeah, correct. No, kasi pag sinasabi mong ICU, allotted na bed capacity, that's not only the COVID cases, no? And in fact, we still do admit non-COVID also, no? But so the overall, kung ICU, regardless of COVID and non-COVID, yun yung sinabi ko na mataas ang occupancy, no? But when you look at the overall percentage of those in that ICU, marami-rami pa rin ang merong COVID over the non-COVID.
Pero hindi bang pinipresenta ng DOH are the COVID cases specifically, even ICU, even the COVID wards? Di
Yes,
ba?
I presume that's the case, no? Because when you declare a bed, like how many ICUs you have for COVID, like if you have 20 ICU beds for COVID, so yun yung bibilangin lang, hindi na bibilangin yung mga non-COVID na admission doon sa ICU.
Hindi makatugma. But in the meantime, meron ng mga nagpo-push na alert level 2 by November. That's only a couple of days away. You think that will be safe for us?
If you look at the cases, bumaba siya, pero we in the healthcare facilities kasi, you have to factor in also the healthcare workers, no, that are also on leave, that are still on naka-sick leave, no? And then there are those who resign, there are those who transfer hospitals or something like that, no? So medyo nakadagdag din yan sa overwhelming ng work natin, no? Dahil because of that, no? So on that note, kung halimbawa mag-open up tayo, I cannot see this something that hopefully kung mag-open up tayo, sana bakunado na lahat.
Saka meron ding proposal yung Department of Transportation to increase daw the capacity in public utility vehicles, including, I guess, trains and buses. What do you think of that proposal?
These are all risky, no? So meaning these are all done because we want to open up the economy. But at the same time, these are risky propositions because we are not yet, in terms of the number of those that are vaccinated, no? So I mean, we are not yet that high in terms of the vaccination rate. So nakakatakot tingnan, and maski sasabihin naman natin ayaw natin gagawin to ng government natin, but since that's the recommendation, and it's really more important now, the priorities in the economy and among the businesses, they want to open up for the coming Christmas, then we'll just have to monitor the events, no? What will happen in the next 2 to 3 weeks. If the cases will be constantly going down, then that's good news. So, ibig sabihin talagang mukhang kaya na natin by November or by December.
Okay.
So do you think the complacency that people are feeling now applies to people who are now consulting in the hospitals with doctors in their clinics, with something that they didn't do before, even if it was non-COVID related? Are there more admissions now? Are people, do you think people are feeling more safe to go to hospitals and to clinics to consult? Are you seeing that sense of complacency also?
Well, I think ang nakikita natin ngayon, nag-open up na rin yung mga non-COVID admissions, no, mga cases, no. So meaning they now have some confidence in going to the hospitals for consult and for other things related sa health nila. So that's something na nakikita natin na maganda ang pananaw, no. But again, this should be put into a context that they should always be not complacent with the health protocol. Okay yan sa mga doktor, no? Yung tinatawag natin na proactive, preventive. Pumunta sila sa mga clinic, hindi na sila takot. Probably because they are also vaccinated and they have that confidence na pag bakunado ka, mataas ang protection mo over the unvaccinated. But again, very important pa rin, maski bakunado ka, we still need to protect ourselves and dapat mag-iingat pa rin.
Dr. Solante, you are an infectious disease expert. You're on the vaccine expert panel. What's the latest thinking po and attitude when it comes to a third dose, booster shots?
Well, I think we already made the recommendations before that there are some populations na if there will be waning protection of some of these vaccines, there will be populations that will be at risk of developing severe COVID. And we have identified this. No, one are the elderly population, the 60 years old and above, and those who are immunocompromised. And of course, we always look at the healthcare workers as also highly vulnerable because of this waning protection. And we maintain that level of information and data that hopefully the government will also give and prioritize this population for a third dose.
It's a general public point. And I ask in the sense of, people started getting their second shots, diba, in the first half of this year. And going by yung sinabi dati na, after the 6th month, then of your second dose, then that's when you start thinking about kailangan ko ba. I mean, are we now hitting a phase and a time where this is going to be a rolling concern for people moving forward, whether you got your second shot in April, May, June, July, and so on?
Yes, yeah, correct. No, that's a good term, no, rolling concern, because once you pass that 6 to 8 months after your primary vaccination and you belong to this vulnerable population, then that would be something you have to look into, that you need to be protected until such time you'll be given the third dose. And again, ang iniisip ko dito, what after December or January, when majority of those, kung hindi pa tayo mabibigyan ng third dose, yung mga vulnerable population, then that can be another area where some of these patients will be going to the hospital. Sana naman hindi mangyayari for the infection.
But Doc, how does one determine that the effectivity is already waning? Or do you just count the number of months? Kasi from what I understand, wala pa namang studies on this. So we're all groping in the dark here. How do we wait for those who got vaccinated to start coming in COVID positive before we can make a determination?
Actually, Ed, no, may mga data na talaga na monitor. These are in some countries, no. A basic example is the Israeli data, wherein most of their population, the 60 years old and above, that were inoculated in January, they saw a higher number of cases, breakthrough infection. In fact, some of them developed a more severe infection in June. They were all vaccinated with the mRNA vaccine. So in June, they administered a third dose of that, and they saw in the curve that it drastically decreased the number of cases among the 60 years old and above who got the third dose. And in fact, there was also a drastic decrease in the severe cases among those with these breakthrough infections.
Okay, so sir, with that in mind, so the policy recommendation is what po? 6 months afterwards, those with comorbidities, those who are who are in danger should be getting ready the third dose.
Yes,
After 6
in fact,
months.
most countries now are doing that, no? And these are the selected population, the elderly and the immunocompromised, no? Now, looking at this information and applying this in the Philippines, ang priority pa rin natin is really the giving vaccine to unvaccinated, no? Kasi yun ang importante, because when you want to stop a pandemic, when you want to stop the variants from coming in, you really have to give the vaccine to stop that mutation. That's the most important, no? And even if you will not be giving that booster and then you'll be giving the vaccine to the unvaccinated, that's more have an impact over that in that particular aspect.
Well, speaking of prioritization, what about between the minors, yung younger ones, and yun nga, may mga comorbidities na vaccinated na but will be needing a third dose, siguro starting January. Sino dapat kasi hindi pa naman magbubukas yung schools, sino dapat ang ipa-prioritize natin nun?
Yeah, that's a good point, Ami. No? Sa ngayon, ang priority natin ngayon is giving the vaccine to these minors, no? The 12 years and above. And we're not yet talking about booster for this age group, no? Kasi alam mo, itong mga population na to, mga bata to no? And I don't know if booster will really be needed among this population kasi maganda ang mga immune response nito. So I think moving forward, no, yun talaga ang gusto natin na lahat mabakunahan, and most likely to prepare them for the possible face-to-face schooling next year.
No, I mean, uunahin ba natin yung booster or third dose dun sa mga immunocompromised nga before finishing the children, the minors? Kasi kung
Yeah,
yeah, ng vaccine sino dapat ipa-priority doon? Pagpasok ng by, let's say, January na pawala na 6 months na.
Okay. Ang pananaw ko dito is that if you're looking more on this elderly and immunocompromised as an important population to protect them to develop the severe COVID, I don't think equity should be a problem. Because when you are saving life, and with this third dose that will benefit this group of people, then there should be a separate allocation from the government that these people should also be getting the third dose. And at the same time, giving the vaccines to those unvaccinated, including the minors.
So that's a separate order. Parang ganon, no? In other words, the supply now should not be used for boosters. That's what you're saying. But Doc, ako curious ako. Parang we're not hearing the phrase herd immunity anymore. And at the rate we're going na nasa usaping booster na, tapos minors na yung ini-immunize. Parang I just wonder if we're still targeting a certain number that will make us feel comfortable about lowering the alert levels. Kasi, you know, there's always that conflict, no? When do you lower alert levels? When do you feel comfortable about loosening up? Ano na ba talagang target? Because lagi na lang sinasabi, dapat may vaccine level na ganito, na ganon. I know that we're far from that, but what really is the target? Is it still 70% of the entire population, including minors and kids, or 70% of adults, or what? Ano na ba? Hindi ko na maintindihan din.
Yeah. Okay. Ganito yan, no? Ang problema kasi natin, limited na ang bakuna natin, no? Kaya ang sinasabi natin palagi na, okay, we'll target 40% by this month, and then we'll target 50 until ma-reach natin tong target, hopefully. Nandun pa rin tayo sa target na we should be vaccinating as many as we can. And for a country, like a developing country like the Philippines, na medyo limited ang bakuna, our target is really between that 70%, no? Which is something na kung ma-reach natin yan, medyo we are already in that particular, not so comfortable, but at that level na probably we can open up the economy dahil marami-rami na ang nababakunahan, no? Okay. Now, the target here is not only driven by the percentage. If you're looking at to really control the pandemic as much as possible, we should be vaccinating everyone. Because I don't see a particular percentage of herd immunity that will really be. Nakita naman natin sa ibang bansa, naka-reach na sila ng 70%, no? Pero meron pa rin surge of cases because of the unvaccinated. So as long as there will be unvaccinated population, that will be the cause of surge of cases. So siguro we have to think of that. Kung itong plano natin ngayon na ito lang yung supply natin, then we have to target this percentage. Pag dumadami na ang bakuna, then we'll have to target this as much as possible until such time na everyone has been vaccinated.
Gets vaccinated. Parang imposible yata. Hindi naman impossible dream yan. Para for everyone to get vaccinated. Is that really a... Are we shooting for the moon there?
The hindrance there is the vaccine hesitancy. And if you look at some of the sa mga provinces, no, outside of Manila, no, medyo mataas-taas ang vaccine hesitancy.
Up to now.
Okay.
Okay, Dr. Ron Jean Solante, he is a infectious disease expert and a member of the vaccine expert panel. Maraming salamat po.
Doc, ingat po.
Thank you,
Thank
Doc.
you.
Salamat, Doc.
Stay safe. Bye.
And that's all for this special edition of The Chiefs. We hope what was discussed here will keep the conversation going. Before we go, a reminder to our viewers, mask on, wash hands, stay safe. Philippines, if you can get it, get vaccinated. I'm Robbie Alampay.
I'm Ami Paminton of the Philippine Star.
I'm Lucy Cruz Valdez of News 5.
I'm Ed Lingao, and we are One News.